Hello, it's Mariya here. And I'm fairly new to YouTube, and I thought that I will film a newbie challenge tag for Authortube. And I'm so happy that I found Authortube community because it seems like a really perfect fit for me because I write all the time because I'm a graduate student, I'm writing my thesis, and also at work I'm writing quite a lot. So I was pretty happy that I found a tag which matches my interests perfectly. Okay, so here we go. Here are questions of the tag. I'll be glancing at my computer screen periodically to keep track of questions. So the first question is, how did you find out about Authortube? So I was actually exploring and browsing BookTube while preparing for NaNoWriMo challenge. So NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month, if you're not yet familiar with it, and you have to write 50,000 words just in 30 days in November, and then, if you go through this challenge, you'll be considered a NaNoWriMo winner. So I was looking for some resources to help me with planning, with preparation, and I was browsing BookTube, and I then all of a sudden stumbled upon Authortube and all those amazing bloggers and writers who are sharing their experience, and I was like, wow, this is exactly what I do. So I'm so glad I found you guys. Awesome. Okay, so question number 2, what genres do you write in? I write non-fiction most of the time, at least for now, because I'm a graduate student and my thesis focuses on mathematical pedagogy in different countries and cultures. And also at work, my work also has to do with teaching students and gamification of education, and I also write quite a lot at work, and it's also, I would consider it like a non-fiction type of writing, more research. So yeah, non-fiction. But one day I'd love to write a children's book with illustrations, and I'd love to write a just, fiction novel. Okay, so number 3, what's your preferred writing tense, point of view, and a category of story? So, as I said, I'm writing nonfiction, so thesis, right now my thesis will probably be about 400 pages long, maybe more, but I also write articles which are shorter, and they basically summarize parts of my thesis, and those articles are usually used for presenting at conferences, for example. Like I said, one day I'd love to write a book for children and to illustrate it myself, and I haven't decided what tense I'll use there just yet. Okay, number 4, are you a plotter, panster, or planster? Okay, so plotter is someone who really has the outline of the plot of their story right away, and panster is someone who just wings it, just writes on the fly, and planster is someone who's in between. I'm someone in between, I would say. I'm gravitating a bit more towards plotters because I love to have really concrete, specific outline, to the point where sometimes I write how many words I want to write in each paragraph. That's a little crazy, but sometimes I do that. But on the other hand, when I'm doing my research, sometimes I'm finding a really good quote or really nice correlation in data, and that just makes me divert from my original plan, for better or for worse. Yeah, so I'm in between. Okay. Oh, my computer screen just went out. Okay. Number 6. Oh, sorry, number 5. Are you self-published, published, or yet to be published? Okay, so my thesis, when I finish writing, which will hopefully be in a couple of months, will eventually be published in ProQuest, for ProQuest Library, which is a collection of theses that people are writing, but also some of my shorter works were published before. So, for example, just recently for Canadian Mathematical Society, they're producing a journal which recaps on conferences that were taking place, and one of my articles is there. So it's quite fun to get something published. It's a lot of work, and the waiting periods are really big sometimes. You have to wait several months to get accepted, then you wait several months to get published. But it's so worth it. I really love it. Totally worth the effort. Cool. What publishing company, literary agent, or printing company are you represented by or use? If you're not yet published, what's your dream publishing house or literary, oh my god, I can't speak today, literary agent? Okay, so I'm not prepared to answer this question because I am not aware of too many publishers, and speaking from academic point of view, like my thesis is on mathematical pedagogy, so like the best journal that someone who is looking at history of science, especially focused on mathematics, would be the Historia Mathematica journal. So basically it's a journal where really top level historians of mathematics and mathematics pedagogy sometimes get published, and I'm not sure if I'm getting there or not, but if I had to name like a dream publication, that could be one. But also I would love to publish a novel and a children's book one day, but I don't know enough about publishers to say which is my dream one. So maybe I'll have to refilm this question in like sometime down the road. Okay, what Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? Okay, so my channel is fairly new, but I am planning to do some NaNoWriMo updates this month. So like weekly updates and some tips and tricks which I use, just some, pep talks to just help all of us, get hyped up. I know it's really easy to get discouraged during NaNoWriMo, and I participated in NaNoWriMo last year. I went to several in-house events in Toronto, and one thing which really warmed my heart was that people were saying that, they appreciate how sometimes just being with the people who are also writing, how it helps them to get inspired. But a lot of people who are doing NaNoWriMo don't live in big cities, or their city doesn't have a big community for in-house events. So I just thought that through YouTube is basically a perfect opportunity to connect and to kind of pep talk at each other, and to make sure that all of us win NaNoWriMo, at least for the next month. So that's more of a short-term goal. And for more longer perspective, I will be also talking about writing, but writing to represent yourself. So one thing which I do when I'm not working or writing my thesis is I teach students about career growth and personal development and really advocating for yourself, representing yourself. And I teach them how to write resumes or how to write good personal statements if they want to go to university or if they're applying for internships. So I would love to post some videos on that, and of course some time management tips as well. I was told that sometimes I can plan things well, so I'll share that as well. Okay. Let's see, number 8. When did you start writing? Okay, so I wrote my very first poem when I was 4 years old, and then I wrote my second poem when I was 10 years old, and I haven't written any poems other than that at all. But actually I quite enjoyed writing before I went to grade 1. So I was writing short stories. I was trying to write a book when I was I think 12, but it wasn't working really well. So I love writing, and the only thing that stops me from writing is sometimes lack of time. Okay, so the next question is, what was the first story you ever wrote? So that poem that I wrote when I was 4 years old was actually about a beautiful white flower that blooms in early spring, and it was about how it got brought into a house for International Women's Day. So I dedicated a poem to International Women's Day, which is March 8th, and it only had 4 lines, but my mom said she really enjoyed it, and that's how my writing started. Okay, so the next one is, what authors have inspired your writing the most? I would say Victor Hugo, because this is my absolute favorite writer. I love his style. Some people are saying that Victor Hugo is a little bit verbose, and he writes really lengthy monologues for his characters, but I love monologues. Well, that explains why I'm on YouTube. But yeah, I would say Victor Hugo. Okay, next one is, do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you can find the time? I would say it's a bit of both. So some writing sessions actually schedule, just so, you know, my time doesn't get eaten up by like housework or other things. But a lot of times, if I just have half an hour between like work and gym, or I would start either writing or editing, because even a little bit counts. So I'm a bit of both. Then, do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? And where do you write in general? Okay, so I write on my computer, I type, and I'm a very loud typer. But when it comes to planning, I must actually have a piece of paper or notebook and a pencil with me, because yeah, it's just how my brain functions. I must write something when I'm thinking, when I'm creating this original plan, like an outline. And then, you know, once I'm done with my like messing around and crossing things out, I would type it in the computer. And while I'm typing, of course, I'm getting more ideas, so I would also make corrections, and that's my process. Okay, last question. What are you most looking forward to now that you're part of Authortube? Okay, guys, I'm so excited actually to hear from you. I'm so excited to meet other authors. Really excited to hear what kind of videos you are expecting from me. Like I said, I can talk about time management for writers, how I can talk about writing about yourself in advocating style, which I think is pretty important for any writer. Yeah, because, you know, writers have to do proposals, you have to present yourself, and this one I feel like I also can help with. So I'm looking forward to your feedback, and please let me know what you want to hear. Please let me know what you think of this video. I really enjoyed making this tag, and I'm so happy I'm part of Authortube now. So see you guys later.